Hello, I was knitting along on this shawl. This is the Mystery Knitalong shawl. I was knitting along on it earlier this evening, and then suddenly I looked down and I had a massive hole. Look at that. So yeah, that marker obviously wasn't there. First thing I did was to have a quick look at it, and it turned out I got the 3 stitches there, which is the, if you're taking part in the knit along, is the SK2PO, so slip on, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over with a yarn over either side. So the stitches that I knitted into for some reason are intact here, so it's not unraveled, but somehow I must have not knitted them properly. I don't know what happened. So yes, so I thought instead of just fixing it where I was sitting on the sofa, I thought I would show you how I would fix it. So they haven't unraveled any further. So that's the row that I was doing. It's the first row, the pink, where I was doing the yarn over SK2PO yarn over. Now I am sitting on my bed because it is evening and the whole family is in the lounge. So I'm sitting doing this on my bed. I wanted to fix it tonight because I'm a little bit behind at the moment. And my plan was to spend all evening knitting on this, and then this happened when I was watching the news. So I put it down till I had a time after the news finished to come upstairs and fix it. But the light's not brilliant because it is nearly 8:30 in the evening. But I think you'll still be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to show you how I'm going to fix that without undoing several rows. So I've done 6 rows since this happened, so I could unpick them. It's not too many rows to unpick, but I'm going to see if I can fix it without unpicking. So first thing I do when I notice any dropped stitches like this is, first thing you shouldn't do is to pull on the fabric. So if you pull on the fabric like that, if you drop the stitch, it will just run down really quickly, so you don't want to do that. And then I grabbed one of these stitch markers and just threaded it through the 3 stitches. So those first two stitches are okay. The third one is actually unraveled an extra row, which is fine. I've got a double pointed needle to help me. So I've been thinking about how to fix this. If I'd knitted quite a few more rows, say I'd come to nearly the end of the shawl, I have had situations in the past where I've actually been blocking a shawl and I've suddenly had this kind of situation. So if that was the case, I would just pull those 3 together, get some spare yarn and kind of sew it into here to try and make it replicate the stitches next to it. But because I'm only, I say 6 rows further on, I think what I'll do is I'll drop these stitches down and then try and fix it and knit it back up again. So I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to take that out, and to make sure these don't unravel anymore, I'm just pinching at the bottom here, and then I'm going to put these on a double point needle, and then I'm just going to knit that stitch back up again. I could actually leave these on the the little marker a little bit longer. I'm just going to put these so they're all the right way around. So this is a smaller double pointed needle. So let me just check which ones I have to drop off my needles. So those are the ones that should be above here. Luckily, because of the stitch pattern, it's fairly easy to drop this down. So I'm going to take that one off. Then I'm going to take those 2 off, and then I'm going to let those drop all the way down. There we go. So now I've just got to knit those 6 rows back up again. And this stitch pattern is fairly easy because it has this double yarn over. Oh, I didn't mean to pull that double pointed needle out. There we go. Put that back in again. So we got these, if you're not taking part in the knit along, we got 4 row repeat. The first row, each repeat where I change colour, is yarn over SK2PO yarn over, and then that repeats all the way along, so you get 2 yarn overs next to each other, and then you do basically 3 rows of garter stitch, and then you repeat it, so the next SK2PO stacks on top, and the double yarn over stacks on top of the previous yarn over. So the yarn over, SK2PO, yarn over, yarn over, SK2PO, yarn over, they stack on top of the previous ones, which makes it fairly easy to fix. If you had yarn over, if you had a lace pattern that kind of where the decreases didn't and yarn overs didn't stack up, it would be a lot more difficult to fix. So first thing I need to do is work out which yarn I'm going to knit with. So it'll be, that's the first strand there. So I'm just going to pull those far enough in on my needle so I don't drop any more stitches. Now it probably would have been useful for me to bring some spare needles up to do this knitting with, but I didn't. So I'm actually going to use this needle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do yarn over, slip on, and then that one's twisted, so I'm going to just move it around. Hang on, I'll drop that one off. So I did yarn over, slip on, knit two together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, and then because I'm doing garter stitch, I can either turn this or I can knit this kind of from the back, which is what I'm going to try and, actually no, I think I'll turn it. So I'm going to just turn it, and then if you think this looks confusing, don't forget that I make a lot of mistakes and I've done this lots of times before. So I'm going to find the next strand, hold that at the back, because I'm going to knit, then I'm just going to knit these three. I'm going to knit this one through the back loop because that would have been knitted through the back loop on the pattern. Knit that one and knit that one. Okay, then turn my knitting again and then find the next strand. So that one is through the back loop, knit one, and then turn my knitting again, do the wrong side row, and that's that last pink strand, and this time I'm just going to knit the three. So you don't have to turn it, you can kind of knit it without turning it, but you kind of have to loop the stitches through from the back, which is a little bit trickier. So that's kind of close up that hole. That's already looking a lot better, isn't it? So now I'm coming to my first purple one. Let's just make sure I'm using the right strand. Okay, so I think it's actually that one I'm supposed to be using. So yarn over, slip on, knit two together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, turn it, and then okay, so I've actually, so I would, this, looking at this, this should actually be, I've actually had two yarn overs there, that because that's this decrease from the row before, and there should be a double yarn over here, and I dropped one, so I just picked up, basically I've just looped this over twice, so I have a double yarn over there. Knit the first one, knit the second one through the back loop, knit that one, and then knit the final one. There we go. And let's see what that looks like, and let's just check that that's working out with my pattern. There we go. Hang on, there's that one. Right, let me just knit across it actually, just so I can check that it's working out with my pattern. Yeah, that's working out perfectly. I'm on just a plain row now. So those, where my finger is, those were the 3 stitches I dropped off, and that's how I fixed it. These yarns are a little bit bigger, but once I block it, they'll even out, and you won't be able to tell. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Now it does take a bit of practice to get the hang of doing this kind of fixing, but the only way you're going to be able to do it is to practice. If I'd messed it up, as long as I didn't drop stitches further down, I could have just unpicked the 6 rows. So it's worth having a go, especially in a situation like this, because there wasn't too much at stake. Anyway, if you have any questions, just ask.